let's talk about Dynazenon episode 8. So this episode begins by explaining how some kaijus are dead. The concept of failed kaiju gets used throughout the episode as a way of examining the ethics of killing giant monsters on a weekly basis, and whether the kaiju possess humanity, with the Yomogi hesitating to kill the creature, which I found to be interesting. Sadly, the thing looks like my nightmares, so I kind of defaulted to wanting it dead. Anyways, as it turns out, I was wrong. Inamoto didn't find the corpse, she found a bag full of money. Though, of course, one could assume that Minami's sister might have left it there before her passing. Anyways, understandably, Koyomi ends up running away, and he ends up thinking about how his life would have turned out if he'd taken the money with Inamoto. Yomogi finds the kaiju and takes pity on the hideous creature because it's so small and helpless. Galma attempts to use his powers to control the freak, but fails. Everyone else playfully joins in ribbing him, but when Yomogi tries it, he actually ends up making a connection to the kaiju. It's, pretty disturbing, actually. You get the shot of what looks to be the mental link he forms with the creature, and he does the Kubrick stare. Interestingly enough, Akane, a character from Gridman, also did a Kubrick stare in one episode, and I wonder if these two shots are meant to be connected in some form. Maybe Yomogi is actually a fellow kaiju user, or he might be a kaiju himself. Could he turn evil? Since the week's monster turns out to be a dud, the eugenicists decide to take a day off and have some fun, which I found to be enjoyable. It's a neat way of showing their human side, and honestly I wouldn't be surprised if they end up turning into the good guys by the end. Knight meets with the gang and explains how emotions have fostered the creation of kaiju. Interestingly enough, Chise makes note of this development, which I'm sure has something to do with that seed she found. Unsurprisingly, the kaiju escapes, and it ends up growing full-sized. It's truly disturbing as well, with its inhuman face and those disgusting baby arms it rubs together. Oh hey, something really interesting I found is this reference to Diaclone in the food court Yume and Chise visit. For those who aren't hyper-obsessed with Transformers, Diaclone is basically the Japanese toy line the 1980s Transformers came from. Diaclone recently got revived, and they have even made a new figure based on the original Battle Convoy toy which inspired Optimus Prime. Building on episode 6, Yomogi attempts to use the Dynastriker's big man hands to lure the monster's baby fingers. Grid Knight joins the fight once more alongside Dynasoldier. Dynasoldier transforms into a new configuration based on a dragon cannon from Gridman, having adapted to Grid Knight. I find it quite interesting how they mention it as an adaptation, and it makes me wonder if there's any connection between Grid Knight and the woman who entrusted Galma with Dynazenon. Maybe she's Akane from Gridman. I'm really glad that Grid Knight isn't just a one-off addition to the cast, because I'd love to see him combine with everyone else. Yomogi continues to hesitate, likely a consequence of the attachment he formed with the nightmare, and instead attempts to take control of it again. This is when the kaiju evolves into something even more disgusting as an eye pops out of what I thought was its mouth. Honestly, this thing manages to give me the chills for how much body horror they managed to incorporate into the design. Grid Knight finally kills the darn thing, and Yomogi is crushed. Interestingly, the music in this scene is a piano rendition of the transformation sequence music from Gridman, which I assume is foreshadowing at Yomogi's powers eventually turning him into a kaiju or something to that regard. The team attempts to comfort Yomogi over his guilt, and interestingly enough, we see that apparently the seed Chise found is taking form, giving it a more dragonic appearance. At this point, it's pretty obvious that this thing is a baby kaiju, and it will probably end up being the thing we saw in the opening. Maybe it will take on a dragonic form in the final battle against Dynazenon. So yeah, this was certainly an episode. Enjoyable enough, I guess, and seeing Grid Knight interface with Dynasoldier was cool. I'm just gonna be honest here, I think I'm gonna pass on making individual videos for the remaining episodes, and instead make a video on my thoughts for those after the series ends. because I have some projects going forward that will take more than a week to work on. Also, having to watch each episode twice just to take notes is making my enjoyment of this show go down just a little bit. But anyways, if you like video games or cartoons or whatever, then subscribe and stay tuned for my future videos. I'll have some stuff not related to anime coming soon.